So a lot of people in where we are now, the city of Dongguan, but in all over China, have been getting these T humanitarian stays, right? They are starting to say, okay guys, it's been a year, maybe it's time for you to go home, right? This is not a regular type of visa. It's humanitarian reason. You can't just keep getting it forever. The important part is, what are the options for people like you, people that have been doing the T visas so far and now they may not be able to keep renew it. Today I'm here with Peter Weston. He's from New Zealand, and we are about to talk about the T visas, the humanitarian stays that China has been giving foreigners since the beginning of coronavirus, pretty much. Peter, I wanted you to do this video with me because about a year ago I came across your post on LinkedIn that went super viral, right?
Super viral, yeah.
Like 2.5 million views?
2.5 million views, yeah. 30,000 likes and thousands of comments. Yeah.
Right, so you were basically thanking China for what? What was that post?
I posted my first T visa. Which has the word humanitarian in it.
Right.
And I was thanking the Chinese government for allowing us to stay and issuing us with a humanitarian visa.
Right.
Okay, so the combination of China and humanitarian seemed to have gone viral, seemed to went viral.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And most of the comments were good. What were the comments about?
There were good comments and bad comments.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of foreigners realize that LinkedIn is actually an open platform in China.
Yeah, it's open. It's not blocked.
It's an open social media in China, and a lot of people who are involved in business or anyway have some connection with the outside world are on LinkedIn.
Right. So what prompted you to make this post? Like, you were just feeling thankful for what? You felt like you couldn't leave the country, they were helping you by giving you this?
No, I wanted to share the information about what's really going on in China.
Okay.
So I put my obviously I blocked out some sensitive information about my personal
your
stuff.
passport number and stuff.
And just posted it. I wanted people to know
that China is doing this.
What China is doing for us foreigners here in China. Yeah.
Do you think that other countries have been doing the same for foreign citizens?
Yes, of course they have, because but in various different forms. Okay?
Right.
The humanitarian visa in China costs 160 RMB every month. I've heard reports that other countries are charging way much more for people to stay on extended visas.
And for these T visas, people have needed to register with the police and do a few things every month, but it's quite simple and straightforward, right? You've been doing this every month since last year.
I've been doing this every month since last May.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've been here before that on a business visa, doing business, right?
I came on my APEC card.
You came in on your APEC card.
I came on my APEC card. Yeah.
Because you're from New Zealand, you're one of the countries.
One of the 21 countries.
Right.
Yeah. So I came in on an APEC card, which is a business. It's a business type of visa, but it's a how to say? We are vetted before we are.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah, so China has, along with 21 other countries, has vetted me and said I'm a good boy, haven't caused any trouble in any of those countries, so I was approved to get this APEC card.
Right. So a lot of people in where we are now, the city of Dongguan, but in all over China, have been getting these T humanitarian stays, right?
Yeah.
Over the last year, more than a year, really. Why did they get it until now, do you think? Why China has been giving those visas?
Well,
like they could say, okay, just go home, take a flight and go home. Maybe at the beginning, last year, 2020, there were a few months where flights were super difficult, you couldn't even get it, right? But after that, I think nowadays you can get a flight.
And I think now it's much easier. I just recently checked how much it would cost me to go to New Zealand, and one-way flight would cost me around 6,000, 7,000 RMB.
That's great.
So I could get a flight to New Zealand from Shenzhen in the next few weeks if I wanted to.
So do they have a lot of flights, or
seem to have a reasonable amount of flights, considering New Zealand is not a very big country. Yeah.
We're talking today because we have heard and from people that since last week here, some people have been refused the renewal of these stays, right? So a lot of people are stressed now. I think in this city there must be hundreds of people with this kind of T visas. All over China there must be thousands. Tens of thousands, right?
Must be a lot, yeah.
People that used to be on a business visa or other kind, or even a residence that ran out or whatever.
Yeah, if you were here on a visa, even a business visa for 10 years allows you to stay maybe 2 months at a time.
Right.
So after those 2 months, you had to
go somewhere,
regulate yourself with the immigration department.
Right. Yeah. But then recently people are being refused. Officially, they are saying that this visa has not been cancelled. Of course, this is a humanitarian visa. Every country pretty much has this kind of this type of visa, and I think it didn't start with Corona, and it didn't just end now. But maybe they are being more strict. They're saying case by case.
Well, technically, it's an overstay visa, and we've been getting this for 1 year. So technically we've been overstaying for 1 year.
But legally,
of course,
right.
Legally overstaying for 1 year, and we've had to support ourselves.
Right.
Nobody helps us.
Right.
You know, we don't get any handout from our governments to allow us to stay here.
We're not supposed to work on these visas.
We can't work on this visa.
Right.
So we have to really take care of ourselves in every shape and form.
Right. So China has been quite easily giving these visas to foreigners in the past year, probably because it's unsafe to travel.
It's unsafe to travel, yeah.
Some countries have serious virus, serious pandemic, some countries more than others, right? So I mean, maybe flights are hard to get, all of these reasons, right?
Also you need to think that there's also a lot of Chinese people in the world, in other countries,
right?
And they are unable to come back.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a reciprocal arrangement between the countries.
Okay. So other countries giving it to Chinese people.
Of course. Chinese people all over the world would like to come back to China, but for one reason or another can't leave the country, or can't get a flight, or can't come back. So it's also a reciprocal arrangement. Yeah.
Right. So since I've been getting a lot of phone calls and messages in the past few days from people in town that don't know what to do about this, since they've just been refused by the Entry and Exit Bureau, the PSB, and are kind of stressed. I want to first talk about why is it getting more difficult to get these renewals? What do we think? There are some obvious reasons and maybe some less obvious reasons.
I think first of all, we need to be very thankful that we've been able to stay here for 1 year, on an extension visa. I think one of the reasons now is most of the countries are vaccinating their populations, and some countries have done very well.
Some countries are quite safe now.
Yeah, some countries are quite safe now. So if we've been staying here for 1 year on a extended business visa or extended tourist visa, maybe they think it's time to go home, back to your safe country.
I was looking at the map today, the CDC map of like travel instructions, right? Where it's safe, where it's less safe, and it's by colors, right? Like dark red is like really bad, and then it goes down, and yellow is quite good. And you have a big yellow mark in Asia, which is China. Yeah. And it's a lot of red, and then I had to go really zoom in to my country, because my country, Israel, is tiny.
Yeah.
And it's like in the sea of dark red, it's yellow, you know, because in Israel, most of the population, I think 90% were
I think so, yeah. I think they're leading.
And the US is becoming a bit less red. It's still red, but it's not totally crazy dark red.
I think
New Zealand is
to New Zealand,
it's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will check if it's yellow, and so this is definitely, I think, one big reason I can come up with to why they are starting to say, okay, guys, it's been a year. Maybe it's time for you to go home, right? This is not a regular type of visa. It's humanitarian reason. You can't just keep getting it forever. And I think some of these people, they know it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
stressed, but they understand it.
Yeah, of course. I also understand it. And
Right.
if I don't get my visa renewed next month, I will have to think about what to do and probably just go home.
Right. So just before the video we spoke about, right? It depends on the you know, like the situation, the circumstance of a person. Like maybe if you're just single or like in your situation, going home would not be the end of the world.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I haven't been in New Zealand for 40 years. So
because you lived in other places.
I lived in
right.
other places, and I'm 62 almost. So
Right.
it's like going to a new country and starting all over again.
And you're comfortable here, and
Oh,
you
I
like
love here. I
you
love
like
here.
life here, right?
I have a great life here.
Right. So okay. So the important part is, what are the options for people like you, people that have been doing the T visas so far, and now they may not be able to keep renew it. What are the options? There are a few options, right?
There's a few options.
I think.
One is the ultimate option is to get a work visa.
Right, so that's like the best option,
That's
right?
that's the best option.
The
yeah.
most legal thing. You can work, you can stay, everything is fine.
Yeah, if you've been here for a year and you found a company that wants to employ you, they should do the right thing and apply
Right.
for a work visa.
Right, so applying for a work visa, of course, you can also, you know, if you are planning to do business, you can also open your own company and then employ yourself.
You can open your own company and employ yourself.
Right, and you may not have enough time to do that, buffering with if you were just refused the renewal of the temporary stay, right? So that's but yeah, I agree, that's the ultimate solution for people. Another solution that can even help you with this ultimate solution is something I have heard from in recent days. Apparently people can do a temporary business stay if you get an invitation letter chopped by a registered company here in China.
In theory, if you are in Dongguan is a manufacturing city, so people who come here on business have obviously had some business to do. Like me, I was following some projects and I decided to stay, and some projects have carried on.
So like, for example, if you're doing projects and you are on a business visa and you are not employed here, but you're doing business here, that's what business visa is for, and you're working with factories to serve other companies back home, whatever, right?
Something like that.
So
yeah.
theoretically, it's totally fine and legal and the right way for you to say, okay, the factory can give you an invitation letter because you are doing business with them.
I'm consulting with them.
But it's business capacity.
It's
not employed. It's just
not
business.
employed. I don't get any.
It's business capacity.
Yeah, I don't get any. I'm not employed by anybody in China. I don't get any pay in China.
So, but it's perfectly fine for them to give you an invitation letter to help you get this temporary business stay.
Yeah, and if you, my feeling is, if we are here in a capacity that's helping a company manufacture something which is going to be exported, we may be favored. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So temporary solution. Anyone seems to be able to get a temporary business stay with an invitation letter. Probably only a couple of times. So this is not a long-term solution. Maybe 30 days extension.
Yeah, probably you'll get the extension that your initial business visa would have given you.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is another factor. If you had a business visa prior to the T visa, you may be treated accordingly. They may give you a longer time depending on that.
Yeah.
So this one, and then of course we said work permit.
We'll find out soon.
Yes. and then there is another options, right? Like family visa, family options. So as we said, if you've been in a relationship with a Chinese person, right? And you are, it's a long-term relationship, maybe it's time to get married.
If you're planning to get married.
If you're planning to get married, maybe it's time to get married. So there's one way. If you have children here and they go to Chinese schools, from what we know, they can get a student visa from the Chinese school, and also a non-working parent can get a residence piggyback from the kid's student's visa. Non-working again.
Okay.
Yes.
That's not my case. But,
so I've been through that in the past, so I know that is possible. Of course, all of these kind of options may take some time, and if you have 5 days to live, yeah, that's going to be hard to do. Now, okay, so these are some options, right? What's the ultimate option? We said is just you may consider to go home if you are not employed here. You're not really doing business here.
You're on a tourist visa.
You are not really in a long-term relationship with a Chinese person that you've been thinking about getting married. What are you doing here? I mean, you know,
yeah, maybe it's time to go home.
Maybe it's time to go home.
Especially somebody of my age, maybe time to go home and settle down.
But I am wondering about, like, okay, if this is humanitarian visa. Humanitarian visas, we all kind of know what's the basics of that, right? It's if God forbid you're from a country where you may get killed or, you know, stuff, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So what if you are from a country that's doing really bad with the pandemic? And, you know, I wonder if they would consider that. They may, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure too, but you may be able to claim that and discuss. I'm not sure.
I would suggest talking to your consulate.
You can talk to your consulate. You know, one more thing is that the PSB, the Exit Entry Bureau, they're always very nice.
Oh, they're very friendly and and always been very kind to me. And I think they are very reasonable, and Dongguan is a very wonderful city and very reasonable and very human city.
So no surprise you want to stick around for a little while longer.
Of course, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
And you do have business here that you were on a business visa right? So I mean, it all makes sense. All right. So what are the other things you're doing here in your life?
Me?
You say you like living here. What's so great about living here?
Well, Dongguan is a very peaceful city.
It is. It's very safe.
And it's very. I live in Dongchen, so I can basically walk everywhere. When I got my first, when I realized I'm going to be here for a long time, a year ago, I started going to the gym. So every morning I go to the gym. I lost 25 kilo.
Wow, I'm jealous.
Going to the gym every morning. It's not easy, but. You know, I didn't really have much to do. My work is very flexible and maybe just work once or twice a month. So
you didn't plan to stay here just before this whole thing started?
No, I was living in Hong Kong before, and actually I had planned to go to New Zealand. Okay, more than a year ago. And then this situation arose, and I decided to stay.
All right. Yeah, I see. Okay. Well, I hope you find a way to stay a little longer.
Me too.
Yeah. And I hope that all the people with this issue now find a way to, you know, to if they need to stay, if they really have reasons to stay, they find a way to do that.
I'm sure if somebody does have a good reason to stay, they will
find a way.
They will be accommodating. But I think the important thing to do is keep calm.
Right.
Don't argue with any official in the department.
Yes.
They have a job to do.
Yeah.
And just comply with whatever happens. And
yeah. All right, and if you liked this video, don't forget to give it that like, the heart on the WeChat channel. Or if you're watching on YouTube, then you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends if this information could be valuable to them. Thanks, Peter.
Okay.
All right. See you next time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.